will get visible after things totally calm down, right? Meanwhile, your calendar is feral, like a crazy cat, all over the place. Colors, you can't even remember what they are anymore. Your inbox is totally on fire. Yeah, you wish you could set fire to it. And later has been lying to you for years because you know what? The truth is, you are the best kept secret, my friend. You're busy doesn't equal visible. Hard work doesn't magically broadcast itself across the radio waves. Nope. That's why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right. A collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are. Your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still feral. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely, kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today. All right, all right. We are back. Hello, my friends. Back with a special, super special, not secret. Everybody gets to be seen and heard today. A session of the Pain Point podcast. And what are we here to talk about? We're absolutely here to talk to and about and really share the magic of getting seen and heard on the stage on a summit. And we're going to talk today about these wonderful speakers who's going to share a stage of the Devastated to Divine Alignment Summit. And that's really where chaos goes into confidence and clarity on this summit. And that's what we're doing. And it is all about sharing great community, transformation, empowerment. And as if you've walked through the fire, my friends, and you've faced the storm, you've looked pain dead in the eye and you've said, not today. But in this summit, this is where you stop surviving and absolutely start thriving. And that's what Devastated to Divine Alignment is all about with these fabulous speakers that we have. And so stop reacting to life, right? There's a lot out there. There's a lot of chaos and a lot of stress out there. We want to find solutions to get past that, go past into the post-traumatic growth, past the trauma, engage with others that are like-minded individuals that are there to prop you up and push you up at all the time and start to forge your destiny. So each one of the speakers are going to share some marvelous tips, some great takeaways. And here we are. We have amazing speakers. So I'm going to bring you each up and I'd love to have you introduce yourself, who you are and what you're going to bring to the table is just a little bit of a synopsis of what you do. And Janet, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you up here and I'm going to spotlight you. Will you tell everybody a little bit about you?
I get to go first. Well, thank you. I'm Janet Perseckles, author, international speaker. What I speak about is precisely what you just mentioned, Nicole. What happens when we're in the middle of a chaotic world, when things don't work out, and the future for tomorrow is so uncertain? I've interviewed professionals and I've researched a lot about this particular syndrome that we're facing today. What I found out is this, that many of them are filled, many professionals are filled with professional success, but they're empty of personal significance. You see, their meaning and purpose has faded into the pressures, the demands, and the worry about the future. So if that's you, I can't wait to share all the points that I'll bring out, especially one that's life changing, one that could really make a difference between you living a life of defeated, worried, and anxious to one that's a life of fulfillment, balance, and joy.
Oh, wow. Thank you. And we met at a summit and
Yeah.
what a great way to get to know somebody and somebody gets to know what you do. When you're speaking at a summit, you're the speaker, you're the expert, and that's what this is all about. It's all about visibility. It's all about power, empowering yourself, sharing your story with others. That's the transformation is what do you do to make a change? So Terry, I'm going to bring you up here. Terry, tell everybody a little bit about what you are and what you're going to bring to the stage.
Hi, I'm Terry Bach, and I work with women over 50 or over 40 in this case, who have gone through major life transition, like maybe a career change, retirement, empty nest, loss of a loved one, whatever that major life transition is. And when they've lost that role in life, it feels like they've lost who they are. And so I help them get to rediscovering themselves, finding their voice, and getting their spark back. And I do it through intentional travel.
Oh, thank you
So,
so much. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to mention intentional travel is not a vacation. It's really going through the steps of helping them identify the changes that they want to make in their lives and who they want to become. And then we plan a trip that they're going to go on where they're going to have certain activities and certain intentions on this trip so that when they get home, they've made a lot of changes in who they are. And then we incorporate that all into um, their old environment, which has not changed. We don't want them fitting back into their old environment. We want to bring the changes into their current environment.
Awesome. Thank you. Intention. I love that. Traveling around the world, bringing true intention, and actually absolutely executing on that plan and showing that you can reward yourself with that and celebrate who you are and what you do. And Lois, if you would just come up here and share a little bit about what you do. You just came off the invisible to influential stage, and I love it. Such a powerful speaker, bringing good information and tips and tricks and tools to transform your life.
Well, thank you. And that was just a week ago, and things have changed even then. So I've got some new things to share about too. So I am a online visibility expert. So I help businesses be visible when people are searching for them online. So it's important that you not be invisible because people want to find you and you want to be able to grow your business. And then also using that, mostly like 80% of what I teach and do is with AI.
Yeah, making life a lot easier to be visible and empowering, entrepreneurs. And that's what this is all about. What tools do you need? Whether it's tech, whether it's getting soul led into leadership, what is going on in the world. There's a lot going on, and I've got a few things popping up in the background. So I hope you guys that didn't come through. And I'm going to bring you on, Rainey. It's good to meet you. And another great person that has come in to connect and bring a powerful message to the stage.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. So I have a very similar message to Terry. So I love being here with you. I speak to the same type of woman. I say she has lost a title and she has to really realign with that title called me, right? We have to find out who we are again after we lose those titles that we've carried for a lifetime sometimes. Um, but I call myself a practical big sister. So I really like to create systems for them. And I call it a roadmap. So we create a roadmap. Like we have to have a destination. Where are we going? And there's a whole system on how we create that. But then they always have a way to get back. to that North Star, if you want to think of it that way. We always have to have a destination in mind. And I do help them understand that that destination can change, right? Because once they get out and start exploring everything that is available to them, take those trips with Terry, right? Their whole world starts to open up, and then they can adjust. And just like our internal GPS, right? We have to reroute sometimes, but we do want to relaunch into a life that truly does belong to us. And I'm also a interior designer and real estate agent, so it brings a little bit of a different take on it. And so then we can start recreating an environment that fits their new, it could be a whole new persona for themselves. And so there's a whole mix of things that happens, but it is a beautiful thing to see.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I'm glad you made it. I'm so glad you accepted that invitation and we're here today. And Colleen, share with everybody what you do. You've been on the podcast a few times, but you are a great collaborator and you bring so much to the table. And you just were on Invisible to Influential and shared how to influence your audience. So share a little bit more about yourself.
Sure, of course. So I'm Colleen Stubbs, and I'm the founder of Simplified CEO Systems. More importantly, I'm the mom to four and a grandma to 12, almost 13, and I'm a wife to my favorite farmer. So I am midlife, and I understand that by the time you reach my age, you've had trauma, right? You've had setbacks, you've faced something devastating on some level. And for me, that was really the beginning of it was realizing that I didn't have purpose. I'd lost my purpose. And really to wake up without purpose um, is devastating on a level that I never even thought about, never considered, and never considered as a mom and grandma that that would be somewhere where I was in life. But being there and then realizing that it was really my opportunity and my time to build something for myself and to really build something that I was madly passionate about and something that I could just shine in and just pour all of my love into. And so I built my online business helping other women learn how to find purpose through building their business. So finding purpose, being able to simplify it so that it doesn't interfere with the things that you have to do as a woman, especially a midlife woman. You know, we have obligations still. We have kids, grandkids, family we need to take care of and show up for. And so whether you're a caregiver to your parents or to your kids, your grandkids, however that works out, maybe you're just the matriarch, maybe you're by yourself, but whatever that looks like, when you reach that point in trauma where you realize that it all kind of falls back on you and you have to do the reset. You have to drag yourself from devastated to divine. And so I'm here to help those women be able to simply do that by building a prosperous business that they're madly passionate about.
I think I can get to my mic on here. Everything popped up. Talk about tech, right? You know, it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. And tech can get the best of you if you let it. And there's a lot out there, and that's what this panel is here to do is to share with you ways to simplify your business, simplify your life. And the proceeds from this event will support Confronting Domestic Violence. I am the chairwoman of Confronting Domestic Violence, and the executive director, Agape, is taking a much needed vacation before she comes on stage. And there's a commercial at the end that I will show you guys. I want to share with you a little bit about that. But what we do with Confronting Domestic Violence is we move domestic violence victims from point A to point B, give them a U-Haul truck. They can throw everybody and everything that they can get in there. And a lot of times places won't move everybody and the puppies and the kittens and whatever stuff and things that you have. Oh my, if you do have a blessing to take that with you. So we want to provide that. But we're also working on shelters or temporary housing. But even to further that, what we want to do is support that. We know that you are not free unless you're financially free. So this is where the summit starts, and proceeds will support that. That's what you could do with your summit in your event, and that's what I do as a summit host and as a concierge summit host. What I do is provide that for my audience. I started in AI about 3 years ago in the metaverse and a few AI systems for social media, and we found that, hey, I had to share with people if they wanted to get a return on their investment was that we needed to make a little money and be financially free. And one of the very first summits that I held in a virtual reality was confronting domestic violence, and some people that just kind of didn't feel safe coming on camera. But the blessing of virtual reality and using the tech for good and not for bad was to give them the space to come in as a panda bear or maybe even a giraffe so they can come on stage and share their story without worry about the audience, right? Sometimes it's like a little kid. You kind of don't want to look, or you're not ready to look, or you haven't had the gifts given to you or been able to do that and come to that place. So it's a slow little walk. Sometimes it's more of a crawl. But as they grow, they are able to come on stage and share a story, and people are much more apt to listen to a story if you're not in the trauma, because they everybody can get people can get triggered, and we don't want the speaker to get triggered. So it's a safe place to bring that here. But when you're ready to come on camera and you're ready to come on stage, this is the place. You can do that as a speaker, or you can host your own summit. What a great way for lead generation, and that's what I do. It's all immersive marketing. Virtual reality is just a 360 website that you can walk into and be the character or truly be you and behold that moment. And that's what that does. That's what a stage does. It's advertising, whether you sponsor and speak or speak. And this is what we're here for. Turn on the camera, get on the stage, and share your magic. You can't help millions of people if you're the best kept secret. And that's what this is all about today. It's all about coming in to the stage and miking up, or you really miss out. And how can we do that? How can we support people? How can we bring finances into your business? And how can we bring financial prosperity to you so you can be fully free, or have a great life, or give a portion of the proceeds with for a cause marketing to an event or a nonprofit or a for-profit that you really want to support. So let's get into these questions for you ladies here today. So Terry, let me bring you up, and you're an intentional travel coach. What does that look like for people, in their life? And why would somebody want to do this? I think this is a great thing. There's such a laptop life, but to have, people want to get up, they want to travel, maybe jump in their RV, take a plane somewhere. But when you do that and you have intentional travel, how does it empower the person a little bit more to have someone like you provide a service like this? You're muted, friend. You want to come on the mic? That's okay. Yeah, try again. Well, we'll go. Well, where you're trying to do that, try to unmute yourself again. I'm gonna bring Janet up here. I'll bring Janet back up here for now. Janet, come on up and let me.
Right.
How did you get in? We had a wonderful conversation. You called me on the phone, and what a great thing the phone is, right? We forget
It
about
is.
it sometime. But you
Right.
you you talk about getting away from the negative emotions and reframing the inner chaos and calming that. How did that start for you? Because you have this wonderful journey, that you talk about how going from with the blindness and the unthinkable loss into being the success. Because you're here, you show up, and you do these wonderful things. You give so much back.
Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, and not long ago, I was listening to a podcast, and they mentioned a study they did during the Holocaust, and they figured out why is it that all of them, in the very same situation, facing the same destiny, horrific, this horrific destiny, why is it that some of them survived and others didn't? So, of course, the survivors were interviewed, and they found one thing that they always kept in mind: a good thought, a thought of hope, or a good memory. something that happened in their life that made them happy. So I thought to myself, wait a minute, that's an interesting question. What is that moment for me, other than the birth of my three children? What is that moment? And I realized that my whole life has been happy, incredibly happy. And let me tell you why. Not because everything worked out fine, but because of those episodes that were so dark, so painful. As you just mentioned, when I was 30, disease of the retina took my sight completely. So I have no sight whatsoever, completely dark. And then years later, my youngest son, whom I adore my three boys, my youngest son at 19 was murdered, and the man responsible was set free. So that was another episode of such darkness. And later on, after 42 years of marriage, my husband chose to divorce me because I didn't know there was a dark side of him. Okay, those three episodes could have just put me in a victim category, right? But let me tell you why my life is filled, overflowing with joy and happiness. It's because I was able to take each of those episodes by learning how to control my mind, how to manage my thoughts, choose to think on something that would help me. That doesn't mean it was easy. That doesn't mean it wasn't painful, losing my sight, losing my son, the injustice, losing my marriage. But the whole thing is how is it that we as humans can see the other side of adversity if we make that particular change? Of course, when I speak, I share all the details of how it's done. But to answer your question, that's probably the main thing. Yeah, control your mind. Yeah,
Absolutely. It's emotional intelligence,
yeah.
right?
Mm.
It's reprogramming the thought pattern. It's finding the intelligence emotionally because we can feel that we're just losing everything. It's so traumatic. But refocusing and reframing on what we do have, what we do enjoy, what is here for us, having those that ride in this life, in this third dimension on this earth, to say, "Hey, I'm going to enjoy this time that I have here, and help my not only myself, but in as you help yourself, you're helping many other people." And I think
Absolutely.
that's brilliant and wonderful what you do. And thank you for being here. And you know what? I would have never met you if I didn't have a stage, if I didn't have a
Maybe.
summit. Would I have talked
Sure.
to you? Would I
No.
would you have reached out? Isn't that a wonderful, wonderful thing? Terry, I'm going to bring you back up here, and it looks like we're good to go. Tech is
Okay.
no longer taking control. We've taken the control back from the tech. So yeah, let's get into
Okay.
going from a psychotherapist. Was it a psychotherapist into
Yes.
an
Yes.
intentional traveler? How did that little journey right there happen for you?
Well, travel has always been a very important part of my life, but what I noticed was I stopped doing it for a while. I had all my excuses. I'm too busy. My mom was aging, my pet was aging, and I had all these reasons. And I realized they were just excuses. So I was my mom's caregiver for 5 years, and I go into a lot more detail next week, but I was her caregiver for 5 years. And when she died, I felt completely lost. Here I am, this midlife woman, and I didn't have a clue what I wanted, who I was, first of all, and who I wanted to be, and what I wanted my life to look like. So I started to think travel's always been important to me, and I haven't been doing it. And so this opportunity came up a couple of months after my mom died to go to Rome, Italy with 9 women. And I kind of I wasn't sure if I wanted to go. I mean, I was so lost. I didn't really even know what to do. So I didn't know anybody going on this trip. I didn't even have a current passport. All of these reasons to say no, but I said yes. And I went for a month in Rome, Italy. And it was a life-changing experience for me. I found this part of me that hadn't existed for years, this adventurous, this brave woman. And that all started coming back to me, and I felt more inspired. I was doing some work when I was there, And I felt a lot more creative and inspired and all of that kind of thing. And so when I came home, and I didn't even know about intentional travel at this point. Um, but when I came home, I felt like a completely different person. And so when this opportunity came up, opportunities seem to come up, and I'm more aware of them now, is to become a certified travel coach. I jumped at it because I know how powerful traveling has been in my own life. And so that's really why I want to help other women, because I think travel can help us with our transformations in a way that um, staying in your environment just doesn't get you. You know, when you're in your usual environment, you keep having the same thoughts. You're in a routine. Your beliefs stay the same often. And so you have to get out of that in order to really change things and how you're looking at yourself. And you know, I talk about going to Italy a lot, but intentional travel does not have to be international travel. It can be going to the town next to where you live. It could be even a hotel room in your current town. You just want to get out of your environment to get um, that change in perspective. So that's why I love what I do.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You get to enjoy. You get to enjoy the better parts of life, and it's the enjoyment, it's the intention, whether it's the intention of joy, or the intention of travel. It's the taking action in
Right.
it. And that's what helps us develop on a soul-led level to lead not only from within, but to lead the change in the community, in our friends. And as we shift, so do so many people. And what a great thing. It's just taking action, getting a passport and going.
It's really.
That's what
Mhm.
that's all about. Let's see. So Rainey, let me bring you up here. This is, just getting to talk to people. These are great conversations. Love having critical thinking conversations and knowing a little more. For me, it's the investigation, right? I didn't really, I joined the police department to help people. It's a little bit different. You don't help them by forcing them. Everything became a hammer, right? Everybody was a nail, and I had the big hammer. I was going to solve the problem physically because people didn't want to change emotionally, and then realizing you can lead them so far without them rebelling against it. Nobody wants it. So here we are today. But with this, you talk about some of this in your bio, that we have up here on the Event Raptor platform, where Devastated to Divine Alignment is. You guys click that link, that registration link. You can absolutely come in free or upgrade to VIP and get these replays and listen to the speakers and know more about them and make a change by just putting that intention out there and looking at these ideas. What kind of ideas does this help you bring to mind? And there's a lot about changing identity. So there's definitely has to be intention to change the identity, to change at a soul level, to change at a molecular cell level. What was that change for you that put you here into this moment where you're like, you know what, I got to bring this to the stage. I got a great story and I can help.
Well, I think as so many things in our life are, it's a process, right? And your life can change in a single moment, absolutely. But so often the realization there's an arc, right, to see really what we need to do. And throughout my own life, we all have experiences. I talk a lot about being at crossroads. And throughout our life, we find ourselves at different crossroads where we have to decide, am I going to stay on this path where I am, where it may not be the best thing for me? It's maybe it's mundane, but it's known, right? It's familiar. So even if it's a little painful or whatever it is, it's familiar. Or are we going to embark on a greater journey and go out into the unknown? And myself, I've stood at those crossroads many times. And my latest crossroads was a career shift. And I was forced to embark on a new career. And I really embraced it as an opportunity instead of, being punished because my title as a, CFO and all that was taken away from me. And that's really what we have to learn, and some of the processes that we go through is learning how to lean into those moments and learning from them and figuring out what is my next best move instead of staying where we're comfortable and where we're really not gaining anything from where we stand. So I encourage everybody to step away from that crossroads and seek your own adventure.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, definitely. Step away. Or, pick one of those crossroads. And I myself in 2020 was forced out of a 20+ year career and didn't know what to do because I was looking at becoming a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, being my own boss. But it was like, whoa, what do I do? How does this change? It's something I know, love, and enjoy, and realized I enjoyed it up to a moment, probably the last year of that career. And it's kind of like, whoa, what do I do now? And it's an identity of us that is pretty much taken away, and what is the strength that we can develop in the relationship? And that's so important to say that, hey, I've got experience. I've got the know-how. Let me help you reinvent yourself. And thank you for sharing that. It's a great thing. So you guys are going to get some more tips on this, a few tricks I like to see, some takeaways when you come to the event, Devastated to Divine Alignment, and come support these speakers. Say hello. Turn on the camera. The first couple hours of the first day are going to be a speakers panel. It's going to be much like this, but you get the opportunity to network with the speakers and ask questions. Turn off your mic, get to know them. So it's Thursday, the 22nd of January at 12 p.m. Eastern, and Friday, the 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. They're going to be 2 long days where it's a very impactful. We've got many, many great speakers. You could see that online. And there is someone, before we get to Lois here, there is some people in the chat. Raul is on there. And he said, what strength you have, Janet. So I wanted to make sure that I put that out there, and we did acknowledge that. So thank you so much for that. And Lois, I've had a chance to hear your wonderful story, and that you have grown with the business and with technology, and just really simplifying uh, what people can use, but giving them the magic, I think, of what tech is. And here we are in that Star Trek era. All these AI places are building up, and Microsoft just negotiated a contract about their AI power plant. It's in the news. Elon Musk was just on the news the other day about the new AI and the space travel that's going on there. They're going to integrate Grok with space, and your Twitter will be everywhere and anywhere. If you thought you were getting visible on X now, you're going to be in Mars real soon. So your message is out there. So it's time to take heed, because if those ancient aliens are out there, you never know what message they're going to hear, right? So
Out of
be
this world.
careful what pictures you put up there. But for you, I mean, we can have so much fun with tech, and I know I'm such an entrepreneur, and I just light up on it because life has become so easy. So if you would share with people a little bit, because everybody's, oh my God, tech, AI, it's gonna run and ruin the world. But there's so much wonderful things. We're finally catching up. We're getting ready to go to Mars. We can catch a rocket right now, just out of space. Just grab it like those. Oh, what are those machines called that have the little claw in there, right? That's what that kind of reminds me of. You put a quarter in. And there it is, right? But when you're sharing this, how can small businesses leverage tech? And the reason, what does this have to do with Devastated to Divine Alignment? It's everything to do with it, because if you align your soul with this, you can go anywhere. If you're a victim and you're moving from one place to the next, from point A to point B, you may not be able to go into work. You may have to be at home with your children. There's so many variables that go in there, unfortunately. But the fortunate thing is you can run a business, you could run a Shopify store, you can open a business just being on Instagram and sell stuff. But tech is so cheap that with the advent of tech, what little kind of tech things should a business owner be aware of first that could help support their business if they're just out there like, oh my gosh, I have nothing. What's a low cost that people can help with, and sharing that.
Yeah. So, first off, I want to say I'm excited to be in the summit with you ladies. You all are amazing. I'm really excited to see what all of you are sharing. But AI is just really amazing. I used it yesterday. Okay, so I created my own GPT. And I told it that I'm 5'2" and how much I weigh and how much weight I would like to lose by June, and that my husband has arthritis and he has this issue and I have MS, and we were concerned about eating healthy and having the right like spices and things like turmeric and cinnamon are very helpful for my husband. And so I told it all
Mm.
this. And then I told it what I had in my refrigerator and what I had in my cabinets and what spices I had. And now I get up in the morning and I say, okay, what are we eating today? And it gives me a full,
Wow.
meals planned out. And because that's the one thing I hate about adulting. I hate having to plan meals for the day, and my husband is not helpful. So, AI is just going to simplify even the things that just annoy us. But the growth in your business, and you've talked about, changing careers or something of that nature, have a conversation with AI. Tell it what all your experiences have been. What type of business could you actually start with the technology that you have? And it's going to just give you so many ideas and just help you to grow with the hours that you could spend researching these things. It condenses it down into just minutes. It's just going to really save us a lot of time in our life.
And it's not only going to save time, but think about that. If you're just starting a business and you're in the thick of it mentally and emotionally, you can strategize.
Mhm.
You've got a helper. You've got somebody that can meal plan. You've got the food set ready to go. You walk away with that. You can sit with the kids and do the homework. You can move forward and say, "Hey, let's get a business plan or strategy together." And it will map that out. It's not to think for you. It's to kind of outline and go, oh, here's a little thing. I mean, years ago, I would get on Google and I would still love if they did, and you'd have a million suggestions on a question.
Mhm.
And it's food for thought. It helps spark the creativity and it takes that planning away. Like if you write, you create, I'm creating a commercial right now for a client and I'm able to script it out, but I put it in there and go back and forth and get some ideas of what to do. But I script it, I wrote it, I'm putting the video in there. But it's helping me kind of go back and forth, and it takes 5 minutes. Where if I get on a phone call, I don't know about you guys, probably go an hour on the call where I can do something in 3 minutes because a little you get easily distracted. But and Colleen, come up here. I want to spotlight you. And coming in here with what you do and what I know about you is that the success of your business has given you the blessing to be with your family. And I love that. It just helps you whether you're supporting them or staying home with your mother and helping that as a person who was a lifelong caregiver of several generations in my family and thought that that was my spot and that was what I had to do. Like in the old days, if you were going to be a butler, your dad was a butler, you were going to be a butler or a cook or whatever. If you're going to be rich, you're going to be rich. I just felt, okay, I watched a few of the old Pride and Prejudice a little too much, but it made me feel good. It's what got me up in the day that, hey, this is where I need to be in service. This is where I am. But then realized I can have my own life. What is that like for you? Because you're able to be successful in business in your life, but include your family in that.
This is true. And I want to start by saying, Ladies, wow. How blessed am I to sit with you? Not only does your the spirit of empathy and resilience just shine through, but what a testament it is to all the women who are going to watch on the summit and participate then to see the struggles that you've overcome. How powerful is that? But I do want to say, Lois, that I must need your help with my little chat bot because he's helping me lose weight. And I told him last night what I ate. And do you know what he said? He said, "Wow, are you sure you want to lose weight? Because you don't eat like you do." So I turned him off and went to
Ouch.
bed. Like, goodbye. And he literally told me, "Your Ritz crackers hold nothing but carbs." And I'm like, "No, that's not true. They also held my chicken salad." Oh,
And
there's that
fresh
part.
chicken salad, it's got to be, right?
So, Nicole, the thing is that when I faced that crossroads, as we spoke of earlier, we each have our own crossroads. When I faced that crossroads and really what I wanted to do, where I'd been, um, and I've told you before, these have been the last 5 years have been the worst years of my life. And I don't say that without gratitude for the lessons learned because I've learned a lot. But being at those crossroads and realizing that I had choices to make, choices that would greatly impact the people around me, but more importantly, impact my mental health moving forward, and realizing that I just needed to step up and take the chance and do something different and do something that could be a true representation of myself, but also leave me available to care for my family. And Nicole, from experience, I mean, I think we were on yesterday and I had a little granddaughter run in with a big thing of Cheeto chips and hey, Grammy, Grammy. And I'm like, oh, hello, But that's why I do it this way, is because it's so important to not miss out on the good parts, not miss out on the memories. You can say, yeah, it was an extra hour out of my day to work on this in my business, and I can take an hour later. But what you can't do is replace the things that happened that hour that you missed, right? There's memories being made. There are core foundational things in your family and just in your life that you really need to be able to be present for. And so being able to build a business that I'm madly passionate about from home, be available to my loved ones, be available to work my schedule around my physical needs and things like that is huge. And I think for people who are trying to escape the devastation, walking out of the devastation, maybe they're on the other side of it and they need to restart, but they're not ready to be out in the world yet. This is just such a great opportunity with the AI, with the all of the mindset things, therapies and things we can get. There's no reason why as women we can't take those bricks that were thrown at us and build a foundation for something amazing.
Yeah, well said. It's building the foundation, and it can be a little scary. And people talk about, oh, hey, it takes courage. It does. It
It
takes
does.
stepping out of what you know. It takes stepping out from your comfort. But the best part of this is that you can do it, and people do it every day. The one thing is sometimes I think what stops is those solutions. We know our pain point, we've identified our pain, but the point of the post-traumatic growth and this summit is to what are the tools? What is the solution? What can I do today? I can hop on a video if I'm comfortable on the camera with my bestie, a frenemy, a business partner, get on camera and say, hey, let's have a conversation, not just take it anywhere. Have some type of direction you want to go, just like you were teaching a class. What are the three benefits you're going to do? What's the topic of today, right? Talking about today, we're talking about getting mic'd up. That's what we're doing. Nobody would ever hear your story. They would totally miss out on you if you're the best kept secret. And then you wonder why you're not selling and you stay in devastation. We want you to progress past that. Because if you do, and we start to look at money in a different energetic exchange, and that we all deserve to be abundant. And that means mentally, emotionally, and financially, our passion and perfect purpose come together for profit. That profit helps you change. That profit helps you support other people, hire other people. It helps you travel. It helps you share your story, get online, or hire someone to do it if you don't want to do it. And this is what happens. And if we do this together in a community where we are truly supporting one another, and that's what this is all about, is what can we do in support, and how can we help? And it's that alignment that leads that here
Well, and I think,
today.
Nicole, I, for a long time, I thought that domestic violence was over there, right? Like it was over there. But I've realized that it touches everybody's lives. And if you
Mm.
don't see it, then maybe you need to look a little bit deeper, but in some way, whether it's your child's teacher at school, whether it's your sister, your best friend, um, your brother-in-law, I mean, you don't know, until you know. And so to be proactive in that and to really help people understand that there are ways to overcome. There are ways to overcome, and there's a whole cheerleading squad waiting to help them, right? And being able to do events like this where you're, like you said, you're just helping them, help them get moved, help them get settled, and even just sharing the ideas. Because I think part of that is that you're so overwhelmed you can't think. At least it was for me. I mean, I spent quite a while just not able to think and function for a minute.
Yeah, I think people would be surprised how often and where often it happens. Working in casinos in Las Vegas, there's a money issue, or they're getting married and the bride decides to bring somebody home from the nightclub before she gets married, and her to-be husband kind of finds out. Those are situations that can provoke. And if we are not in our right emotional state and looking at where we are and what we're doing, then we can jeopardize that. It happens around us. It is so much. And what I do want to say is people are like, oh, it just happens on YouTube. You see it a lot because of the algorithm. It happens. It happens so much more than you know. If you guys really knew the data, that violence, that shame, in that guilt, and what happens is everywhere. However, we can change that with bringing this situation to life and providing solutions. If we start to provide solutions and stop scolding one another and saying, hey, the buck stops here, we're going to stop it. How about we change the community's mindset from getting a camera out and say, instead of dialing 911, everybody's getting that viral video content, and people, it happens so often where something's happened. Somebody has unfortunately gotten beaten to death or run over or something in a situation, and people will sit there and videotape it. And
Sure.
nobody wants to call anybody. But if we are not the ones to take that and make a decision to stop it, then it's going to continue. The other thing is as we grow and change, and you take the tips and tricks of all these wonderful speakers and the energy and the vibration in the room, if you're staying in the same place and you're playing with the same bad people, you're hanging out with partners in pain, and that doesn't just mean physical pain, but we all have that aunt, that uncle, maybe even a business partner that always wants to gossip and constantly brings you down. If you continue to stay with them and don't detach and separate yourself from them, you will always be in that energy. And let me tell you, I know so many people in different careers that I've have, even this one, and it's pretty much all online, that they think, oh, it will never affect me. Whether you spark a prayer, whether you ask God for some help, add some light to your life, or you engage in some type of soul-led change where you're bringing light and goodness into your heart and your life and make a change and change to move and protect yourself, that will absolutely bring anxiety, overwhelm, stress, and all kinds of, your body will be in dis-ease consistently if you continue to be in that space. You are a special unicorn, but you're not special enough to do that. What happens is it's the world and the universe telling us we need to get out of that situation. We need to make a change. So find a path out, whether it's to take a travel, take a trip, refresh, get new friends. And this is why when I worked in jail, people would get out and they'd tell gangbangers, don't go back over there, or people could not go back into their situations or their homes. Don't go back into that place. Don't go back into that school. They don't want you to hang out with those bad people, just like parents used to do back in the day. Oh, you don't go hang out with Jimmy. He's a bad seed. There's a reason for that because you continue to bring that energy. So let's change that. And I would love to hear from you why you chose, and what a blessing that you did, why you chose Janet, what drew you to this, to come on stage to share this moment.
Great question. I think it's the same reason of why I speak and travel across the country and other countries by myself with my white cane, and why I write books, because there's that one person, Nicole, I think you just described, she or he, who is feeling like life is just too much. They're sitting in the victim seat thinking there's nothing I can do. Everything's against me. Where can I find hope? Where can I have enough motivation to get out of this? And that's what motivated me to be able to share my story and let them know that there's always another side to adversity. There's always a better way to be able to get out of your situation, but not just endure it and say, oh, good, I'm out of it, but use that with a purpose to help others. And I think that has been the what propelled me to really inspire people, because whatever your story is, failures, shortcomings, even tragedies, those episodes, they can be the gold that refine you to do something amazing for others, to be able to contribute. All of us have that in us. It's just that we can't see it. And I know it's kind of strange for a blind person to see say that, but really we can't see it. We have our eyes, the vision of our heart covered by emotions, fear, anxiety, depression, worry. And it doesn't have to be like that. It can be so much better, and you can contribute so much more in spite or because of what you've gone through. So that's really what motivated me and continues to motivate me.
Oh, thank you. I love to hear that. Thank you so much. It is great that you're listening to that. Maybe it's that little angel on your shoulders and not the devil, as we change to listen to our intuition and what we share. So Terry, I'd love to hear your decision to come to speak on the stage and speak at Devastated to Divine Alignment as well.
Okay, it's I think part of it for me when I went through my big feeling lost and really not knowing who I was, and I was starting a new career and all of that. So I kind of had a lot going on in my life, and yet I felt stuck. Like I couldn't take a first step forward. And that's when I knew I couldn't be, excuse me, I couldn't be alone in that feeling. Other women have to be experiencing this too. And that's what started me doing this kind of coaching. But more recently, this was just last year. I went through a really bad experience. I was supposed to be putting on this big retreat, and it turned ugly and it got canceled. And I went to Italy because that's my favorite place in the world. And while I was there, I decided I have to change my life. I have to change my business. I don't want to continue to live the way I was comfortable, but I wasn't excited about anything in my life at that moment. And I had some health issues and all that. So I did a lot of writing when I was gone. I started writing my book and, all this stuff. And when I came back, I thought I joined a speaking program where they help find speaking gigs. And this was one of those because I knew I needed to be more visible. Part of my growth is to become more visible and to live a bigger life. That's been my goal for a few years now. And so this is an opportunity for me to do that. And at the same time, hopefully get the message across to other women that they're not alone in feeling the way they feel when their life shifts.
Awesome.
So,
Yes, I'm so
yeah.
glad you heeded that calling to come in and be visible. And that is the one way to influence your audience truly, is to utilize your voice, that throat chakra, as we heal through
Yes.
abuse or tragedy. A lot of times we can get sick or stress, our glands can get swollen, or we lose our voice. And it's happened. I've had those moments where you're like, every time you go to say something, it's just like there's like you cough or your throat gets dry. And why is that happening consistently? So, and you stepped into the light,
Right.
and thank you for doing that. It's a great thing that what we can do. And Rainey, I'm going to ask you the same question, is really what drew you to this event? And I want to thank you for doing that.
Thank you. I I am on a big mission, and part of that mission is to build a more resilient and self-reliant world. And so I want to reach as many people as I possibly can. And events like this are a perfect place to do exactly that. And not only can I reach those women who have encountered a life disruption, I can also meet all of these other incredible people that are associated with events like this. And I just find it incredibly powerful. And I think when we all come together in ways like this, it makes it even more impactful.
Yes, absolutely. It does when we connect together and we support one another, and you support yourself in the growth and the journey, and that's a wonderful thing. What I will say is that, as someone who has had domestic violence around them, thank goodness it wasn't me. I figured it enough. There's one good thing about being the black sheep in the family, but it happened to my mother, happened to my sister, whether they got thrown down the stairs, broke their back, getting near suicide, going to jail, third generation welfare. It's like, what is going on? It happened to my daughter, and I know I don't talk about it a lot, but I will in this situation. She became the perpetrator. Women's lib was not nice to her, right? That doesn't mean you're strong. Yes, you should defend yourself, but going out and looking for a problem or putting yourself in a situation where there's a lot of drugs and alcohol, and that's the life you're going to live. We are given this life, and at this point, this is our one chance in this life to live healthy and be prosperous. And that showed me on my journey that no matter how much I changed, I could not change the people around me. I could give them the support and the place to be, but I could not force it upon them. And I tried. Lord knows I tried. I did say my had a lifetime in security, and physically trying to do that didn't change and didn't help. I thought I was going to give you a physical education. I was going to show you, right? Little too much WWE, but it was fun too, being able to do that and working with a team of people and bringing that here, that experience here, to be a leader, to be a manager, to be an admin, bringing that here to say, hey, how can I lift up people and what kind of team can I develop? And every day, everything, even just down to this podcast, there's a team of wonderful people that I'm working with right here and right now. So Lois, I'm going to ask you the same question and thank you for being here. Why were you drawn to this specific event?
Well, I really feel that we're in an age where owning a business is not easy, but simpler with the technology we have to work with the just options that we have available to types of businesses that we can offer because we can do so many things online from selling to coaching, just so many things. And there's so many services that need exposure, especially like home service businesses, that not to put down the big corporations, but I'm kind of voting for the small guy. And it's a time when the small guy can compete with the corporations because the online marketing, with especially with the near me searches, makes the playing field a little bit more even. And as long as you're following the rules and not trying to be a hotshot online, you can really make it very, very not time consuming, but very reasonable to get to the top pages of Google.
And that's awful. I mean, awful. That's amazing. I'm reading and talking at the same time. But I wanted to say, is you no longer have to worry that, hey, I can be an entrepreneur at a low cost or no cost. And yes, you should have a business plan. Yes, you should have money before you. That would be great. But if you're at a time of trauma and tragedy, get on your phone. Find chat GPT, talk to someone like Lois so she can, share these great tools to help you run a business. It's 2026. Whether you're moving and you're displaced from point A to point B and you're at a moment where you can start a business, you're now financially free. Or on the other hand, if you're escaping corporate America, you're going to get pushed out of your job if you haven't. I did. You need to be able to adapt. And this is a great way to say, hey, we're not going to let 2020 happen to us. We're going to take over, take control, and use tech for good, which I think it's just such a blessing to be able to do that. And these this is when people say, what do I do? I don't know. What do I know? What do I do? Who do I know too? That's the other thing. And this is when you speak on a stage, when you're on a speaker panel, when you're a good guest on a podcast and you're able to answer questions, have questions and answers, talk and engage with the audience and the host of a podcast. When you're able to do this, it helps you network. It helps you develop engagement, build community, build know, like, and trust. People see you. It's an immersive marketing way to get out there, whether you're on camera or not. And just think of it how easy it is. Everybody has the tools and the tech as long as you have a computer, as long as you have your phone, maybe Wi-Fi, you got a little energy somewhere, or you're plugging in at a friend's house or at a coffee shop. Those tools are out there for us, and that's the blessing of these days. So of course, Colleen, I'm going to ask you that same question. What drove you to come into this summit?
Nicole, I almost didn't come into this. I'd signed up for some other ones with you and was just going to advertise with this one. But one of the things that I really felt like is that when you've come out of something, when you've come onto the other side, the very best thing you can do is turn around and help somebody else come out, right? That saying the most powerful thing you can do with success is to help someone else obtain success. And that includes overcoming traumatic events, something that's devastating. And not only that, but my mom used to say, you are what you eat. So be so careful what you consume around you. And so what a better place to sit than with these women with stories of resilience and of overcoming and of empowerment, right? With all the tools that they bring. Who doesn't need inspired by that? And so it's a great place not only to dive into a part of my story that I've never shared before because it's so new and so fresh, but also to sit and get buoyed up by such powerful women, And so I think that's why I'm here. And I want people to know that there's a way you can get past that devastation. You can absolutely embrace divine again.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And this is what we can do to give back. This is taking a stage, having a summit, a workshop, getting on a podcast gives you the advantage and the control to support the cause and the community you choose. Now, what the TV tells you, yes, Subaru does save the forest and the trees, and we can hug them. I love them, right? You just want to feel them, and it smells good with the dew in the morning if you're walking in the forest. Woo! What a moment getting out into nature. This gives us the ability to support the cause and the people we want. There was a few things years ago with United Way, and I've been a volunteer since I was a young girl, whether it's in elderly homes or with vets. They have great stories, especially the crotchety ones. If you get them to tell you a story, oh, it's so rewarding. And the blessing of going to Del Mar at the event when we had our first gala for confronting domestic violence, and everybody got dressed up, and we had people come in and they told stories they may never share again, but they told it once and it was enough for a healing moment. I had, I think it was Elizabeth Vargas from Real Housewives of wherever, something somewhere, wonderful person, and she was able to share a story, and she pulls me aside after coming on the stage. She's like, I am never going to share that story again, but I feel good. And she felt so good that she bought all the stuff on the auction table. What a blessing that was to bring her in, because we were just going to bring her in, thought, oh, she'll come on the stage and she's going to leave. She did a podcast with Agape, and you guys will hear from her at Confronting Domestic Violence, and this is why I support her. There is something magical about a person that will listen to you, be heartfelt with you in the moment, and will give you solutions and support and a great big hug. But she sat with her on the news live, unscripted. Yes, this is a reality housewife lady. And she told Agape the story for the first time. She wasn't going to get out of her car. She wasn't going to go on the news channel. It just came to her the night before. But she came, she listened to her soul. She came and she told this beautiful story. And it's the magic of somebody that's so caring and has been there themselves. And that's the beautiful thing. That's the takeaway is how can we change this together in a community and support the community and the people we want to support. You do that by being abundant. You do that by having a good business plan. You do that by turning on the camera and you do that by sharing your story because otherwise you're invisible and you can't change anybody's life and you can't support them because they don't know that you will. So that's what we do with here. And ladies, we've got time for a great takeaway. So I want to go around any takeaways or anything that you want to share coming up to the event or anything wonderful. Because when you guys sign up for Devastated to Divine Alignment, you get wonderful freebies. Every person here and every other speaker that'll be coming on the next speaker panel podcast is going to share something magical, not just the moment with them, not just the speaker panel, but they're giving some gifts and they're giving some wonderful gifts. And of course, a portion of the proceeds goes to support confronting domestic violence. So that's what we're all here today. So, Janet, any last takeaway that you want to share with everybody here?
Well, I couldn't help but just reiterate what I think it was Lois, the last one who spoke. I'm not sure. You're right. You are what you eat, but you become what you think. And that has been such a powerful truth in my life. Now, as far as gifts, is that what you want me to also share, or just more takeaways?
Either or, you can share your gift about your gift and your takeaway.
Okay. The other takeaway is I always say that sometimes changes in our life, and all of us, I think from listening to these amazing ladies, all of them seem to have gone through different changes. And how do we view those changes? Sometimes if we embrace them, they become the channels that open the door to such wonderful possibilities. So embrace those changes. We may not want them, but they hold something beautiful if you just hang on to them. My takeaway is that one I'll be giving them my third book, right? It's Contagious Courage: Your 30-Day Journey to Overcoming Stress and Anxiety. And yeah, so I think I also have a VIP offer as well. Yeah, 10% off that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely. And everybody's going to be able to click a little magic link the day of the show. And once you register, and of course it'll be available to you afterwards, but connect to these powerhouse speakers. Terry, I'm gonna bring you up here and any last takeaways or share about your gift as well.
I think my big message is that having your role in life changed is not the end of life. It feels like it when you're in it, but that it's really just an invitation for more, something more exciting, something more joyful, all of that. And to kind of reiterate a little bit of what Janet said, I see it as, you're kind of like standing in the doorway and with this open door. In fact, my branding, my logo is an open door, and my logo or my tagline is opening doors to new possibilities, because I see it as an opportunity for a lot more possibility than you've had before when you let go of all the shoulds.
You shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? That is so true. And
Yes.
the someday, because it's not a day on the calendar. I keep checking. It's not on the Mayan calendar either, and it's not on the astrological calendar. That someday just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist interdimensionally. It doesn't exist in the fifth dimension. And CERN is not seeing it either in their scientific research. So today's the day, and you're taking action by being here. What can you do? That's a great takeaway is you can be here, you can show up, you can support. You took action. You did a thing and you made a change. So let me bring you up here, Rainey, and talk about a little bit of some takeaways that people get from you and your gift as well.
Thank you. So one of the gifts that I will have available, it's little bits and pieces that I've taken from my prompted journal, and it will really help to um, create this past year. It's been really remarkable. I've been talking about it for a long time, but now with the ending of 25, which was the, what was that, the 9 year and the year of the snake and all this stuff about putting things away and then new beginnings. I've been talking about this for a long time, but this is a great time to reiterate it, that there are so many things that we need to release in our lives so then we can move forward. And so that's part of what my gift is going to be, is just some very easy prompts to walk folks through that, so they can determine for themselves what they can let go of so they can move forward. And I've heard that same um, kind of theme through everybody today, and it really is about taking that very first step. And I think that that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely take the first step. What I do want to say is, in the Chinese year, the representation, the animal that represents, in the Venetian used to put it up, they would have this ginormous 30-foot chicken or rat for Year of the Rat. But what it represents energetically today is independence in nature with a passionate and dynamic qualities of the fire element, which is Saturn, and Saturn is very important because it's leadership, it's strength. So we can look at that and have fun with it too. That's what this is. So we're starting this year with strength and starting 2026 with a bang. And Lois, ma'am, for people, what can they get? Some takeaways from you, and the gift that you'll be sharing.
Yeah, so I am going to be sharing ways to open your mind on how you can use AI, not only to grow your business, but even just to organize your business and get your thoughts together and just to really bring things in so that questions can be answered or direction can be given. And you can just lean into this and then it keeps drilling into you so you feel confident with the decisions that you're making. And my giveaway will be a 5 minute AI tool or process that you can go through.
Ah, awesome. Easy. 5 minutes. You guys have 5 minutes. Put it on your schedule. Take it, go through it again,
Don't do it
and
on someday.
do it the day you get it, right? And Colleen, ma'am, it's your turn.
All righty. So my key takeaway that I'm trying to share with women is that everybody has something in them that they're madly passionate about that they can monetize. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I know a lot of people that is overwhelming to think maybe you're in the middle of starting over for whatever reason, whatever devastation you've been through. And do you really want to add the task of figuring out how to do all these things to your plate so that you can stay home and monetize what you're passionate about? But the truth of it is there are so many tools out there. And one of the things that I provide is a simplified CRM system, which helps a lot in business. But my giveaway is a one-on-one call. And there's no time limit on it. We're going to hop on a call and we're going to talk about the things that you're passionate about, the things that you're good at, as well as the things that you wish you were good at. And then we're going to find a way for all of those things that they can be monetized. And that puts you in a position of power where you get to choose which one would you want to use? Which one do you want to dive in now? Which one are you most comfortable with? And then we'll explore some different ways that you can monetize it and really bring a business to life in your home that fits your life and really builds a life and a business you love.
Oh, I love that. And thank you so much for being here today. And you guys, look, you couldn't get this $1 million panel anywhere else. You're going to get them all in one room. You're going to get masterminds. We're going to have the melding of the minds together. You can come in there. Yeah, I know, a little reference to Spock. I had to get that out of the way. But you want to do the mind meld. You get all these masters, these goddesses, these queens, and we do have one king that will be there, a great person, very strong leader in the community, somebody that shares a great passionate message that's going to be on stage with us as well. But you know what? The blessing is you can come in here. These are resources. If you felt lost, where are the resources? Upgrade to VIP, support confronting domestic violence, support yourself and your business, $44 for that. and you get these videos, you get to take notes, you get to put it in the hopper, you get to ask them questions day one. Come here, 12 Eastern on the 22nd of January. You're going to get to ask questions, have some questions together, a pen, a paper, and watch this. Get some takeaways. Unlock the links to the schedule. And I'm going to leave you with a thank you, many blessings, goodbye, love and light. But I want to leave you with one last commercial. I'm going to play you a little bit about confronting domestic violence. And then we're going to move on. And I want to thank you so much for your time because you're amazing for being here. Thank you. If it'll play for me. There we go. Can you guys hear that? Nope. No, still can't hear it. Oh.
Our mission at Confronting Domestic Violence, CDV, is to provide real-time resources to victims and offer relocation services when parents have a safe place to go and not the means to get there. Every day, countless families wake up in fear, navigating a battleground in their own home, trapped in a cycle of violence. It is in fact the most dangerous time for a victim is when the abuser knows they're leaving right up to the point of leaving. One of the biggest challenges a parent faces is fear and finances. We aim to help numerous families each month by fostering multi-agency collaborations. We're asking you for your support too. Every little bit helps to make our mission a reality for families ready to leave their toxic, abusive environment. No parent should have to leave everything behind or resort to homelessness when leaving for safety. Your contribution can make a world of difference, offering a family to feel safe at home once again.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, friends. Bye-bye, bye-bye. We're going to end the podcast, and we'll see you on the 27th. Thank you so much.
22nd.
22nd. You're right. I did say 7. Thank you. 22nd of January. Click the link. It'll tell you. Add it to your calendar.